Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. As always, a reminder that this podcast does not constitute real estate advice, legal advice, broker advice, or advice of any other nature. This is an informative podcast. And if you need advice, please reach out to the correct professional who can help you. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to Launch Grow Harvest Podcast, Business Growth Coaching with Connie Boona and Roland Kim.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us, Launch Grow Harvest Podcast. I'm here with my favorite co-host, Roland Kim, and we've got a wonderful guest today, two guests, actually. We've got Shelley Zavits from Portland, Oregon, award-winning author, successful realtor, and business coach. And we are going to be talking today about her book, Marketing That Moves People. And joining Shelley is also our associate broker at Keller Williams Van Central, the one and only Lynn Hart. Friends, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I'm excited.
So, gang, if you haven't had the opportunity yet to enjoy Shelley's book, it's called Marketing That Moves People. You can find it in all of the places that you would find books or audiobooks. And I'd just like to start the conversation off by, first and foremost, thanking Lynn Hart for introducing us to you, Shelley. Lynn, can you share a little bit about how Shelley has influenced you in your business?
Well, Shelley and I have known each other a very long time, actually, from, I don't even know. It was a while ago. She first moved to Vancouver from Ontario, Toronto area, I believe. And I was there at the time she came to Vancouver, and a few of us kind of embraced her and brought her into our community and set her loose amongst us all. And I have just been amazed at watching her grow and flourish. She only became a realtor in 2015, but before that, she was successful in the business she was in and much loved. We played sports together. She's an absolute goof, and I think she's just an overall great and generous person. And I'm so happy that, she's in my life. Here she is.
Oh, I gotcha. Can I say this more succinctly as this? She arrived in Vancouver a hot mess, and I had to fix it. That's what you should have said.
Relationships matter in the business.
Nice.
Is what we see here.
Yes.
And I might point out that she never used me as a real estate agent just when she was here.
Well, this was a wonderful interview. And I guess I am now leaving.
But I honestly taught her a lot. Yeah.
You did. You absolutely did. Thank you, Lynn.
Awesome, gang.
Basically, I'm the reason that I am who I am is partly because of Lynn and crew. So thank you very much.
Amazing. One of the things I feel like I'm gleaning from both the books you've written, Shelley, through conversations with Lynn, we've been just so excited to have the opportunity to have you present to our agents and share all of the wonderful insights that you've learned along the way of building your successful path. But the foundation of all that you are saying, certainly in these books, and the foundation of what I gathered through the opportunity to hear your presentation today, understanding that this is really my first time getting to know you, is you obviously come from a place of sincere generosity. It's very, very obvious to me. I like how you're looking upward, wondering if you're just faking it till you make it. But
Let me just check on that.
Yeah.
Let me check on that. I mean, I am Canadian. I grew up in rural Canada, just outside of London, Ontario, and my family was about community. That is like in my bones, taught to me. The value system of helping thy neighbor is deep. So it comes innately. Mm-hmm.
And something that really struck me both about quite a bit of the content in Marketing That Moves People, and moreover in the presentation, was the way in which you were helping people who were putting their hands up to ask questions, and certainly the reader who is enjoying this book, helping them understand like the big why. Why are you in business? Why do people want to talk to you? What are you offering them? And how do you go deep in that sphere, whatever that sphere is, and continually and consistently provide value? Am I like sort of on the right track in terms of the overarching theme of this book?
Yeah, in both books, what I want people to know is businesses are snowflakes. We are not, even if I try to build Connie's business, I can't because of my core values, my value system, the things that matter to me, the things that get me up in the morning. So if we build businesses exactly on who we're supposed to serve, one, that's going to fill our cup. We're going to have a great life. If you serve well, you will make money. Full stop. Does in every single industry, every single one. So my goal with Marketing That Moves People was I spent a lot of time helping advertisers, especially on Virgin, helping them understand that even if you were a car dealer and you sold Jeeps and the guy down the road also sold a Jeep, how do we make sure that people come to your lot and not the one down the street? Real estate is the same. We have the same inventory to sell. We have the same things, that basic apparatus to work within. How do we make sure that they choose us? And that fundamentally is a deep dive. It is a practice. You have to spend a lot of time doing it,
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get really good at it, you will find that you will attract more business. And I started the presentation this morning saying something very specific. And I wanted people to remember back to the P&L. If we have a profit and loss and we have all of our money going out trying to attract leads,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter how much you sell, you're not going to be profitable. So we need to be able to attract people to our business so that we can keep some of the profits so that we can retire later, right?
Yes.
This is not a reactive business. If you run it that way, you will be broke forever. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that in my bones. So Marketing That Moves People was really about trying to get a solo agent or an agent on a team to understand that we expect certain things of you too. You can't just expect people to just feed you leads. And then, we don't work in W-2s. At least we don't in the United States. Do you in Canada? Do you have W-2?
What is W-2?
agent?
I don't know what the
Your payroll.
Yeah, your employee as opposed to independent contractor.
Yeah.
I loved in the session earlier today when you were talking to our agents, one of the things and talking about digging a little deeper, Connie, was the profiles, the 7 points of the profiles that you went to, and that would help you really analyze digging deep and the pain points and the pleasure points and that of the person you're working with. And I thought that was pretty brilliant. That was opened a few eyes, I think, in the session.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is mirror back to people what they believe they know about us.
Yeah.
And people enact on feelings. Even when I wrote commercials for radio, I was like, it doesn't matter what they say. What's that Maya Angelou thing? It doesn't matter what they say. It's how you make them feel or whatever. Mm-hmm. Branding is exactly like that. So defining how you want to leave people is really important because that becomes your reputation before you show up to the next one.
Yeah.
So be in control of that story, right? Shouldn't it be great? Instead of oh, my experience sucked. Instead, provide something better.
Yeah, what I liked about what you were sharing and just framing it in sort of the modern era of marketing and thinking specifically about the ways in which we advertise ourselves in an organic way on social media. It's like people don't really care about a photo of you in front of a house. I loved that piece, right? It's that's not it. that's actually not it. Like, if there's a photo of you in front of the house with a message about what is deeper, what occurred, the human story behind the photo, that is what is relatable. Am I kind of getting into the essence of what you were saying there?
Yeah. So what you're trying to evoke is from the person that you want to use you in the future, you want them to have a feeling of, I can achieve that. I can have that. If I use Connie, I will feel this way, and I would like to feel this way.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we do have some egos in real estate. So being in front of the car and showing people how much money you make, or only saying, I close this amount of business because I am rich now. What is in that for me? There's no payoff. I'm happy for you. That's great. However, is there a little bit more for me in there? And when we're designing branding, and we kind of talked about, I won't get into it now, but the difference between marketing and branding is significant. It's important that you know the difference. And the most important thing that you're doing when you're designing all of your branding is thinking about me, the viewer. How do you want to leave me so that I have the perception when I show up to the next thing of who you're going to be? And then constantly reaffirming that that is the truth, which hopefully it is.
Yeah. Lynn, how would you say, for folks who are listening to the podcast, if you're not familiar with Keller Williams Realty Van Central, we're a top 10% brokerage in Greater Vancouver, located in East Van, and we run a productivity coaching program that's led by Lynn Hart, experienced and successful realtor in Greater Vancouver, and also in her previous career as a teacher. So a really, really robust program. And Lynn, I wonder how these kinds of conversations are coming up in your productivity coaching conversations right now, because there is a variety of people that are plugging into productivity coaching, new agents, experienced agents, everybody in between.
Yeah, there's a good variety, and I love the way that they actually play against each other, kind of thing, help each other out. But every session I'm in there telling them what a hard job they have in front of them, and that they need to get serious about it, and that just posting on social media every once in a while just isn't going to drive people to them. Basically, they've got to go out there and they've got to come face to face with people and voice to voice, or that old term, belly to belly, right? And just have people start to get to know them, start to get to like them, because that's when people are going to want to do business with you. And it's just driving that message over and over and over again in the different training sessions that we do. It's the same thing, really, just presented in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more experienced agents I find are getting it. They're actually starting to produce a little bit. And so that's the hope that the younger agents or the newer agents will pick it up too.
I was going to say that my most hated term is set it and forget it. The marketing of set it and forget it. The last time that I wanted to be forgotten is never as your client. So if you are not interested in engaging with me and having conversation, I mean, why would I ever use you? Ever. Don't send me a recipe unless we're going to have a conversation about it. And that's your intention.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just wasting my time.
Say more about what that means to you.
I think that what's the purpose of advertising? The purpose of advertising is to drive traffic. Driving traffic in this scenario on our social media is to drive conversation. What I want is for them to end up in my DM so that I can set an appointment, so that we can be belly to belly, so that later on they ask me about real estate. So eventually I sell their house. That's the goal. So to say, here's a recipe in your email box that has my name on it, and I haven't cooked a thing in 15 years, you're just wasting my time. And the last thing that we need to be doing is be really noisy in other people's lives instead of giving something that is of value. So the set it and forget it programs, I think, make the companies money. I think it's an easy way for us to say, okay, yeah, we did that, mark it off the list. I don't think it's effective.
What's your opinion on fake it till you make it? I hate it, but what's your view with marketing? Because I feel like there's a whole generation now that are uncomfortable with the learning curve and they just want to tell the world I'm already there. And then they try and backfill the story versus earning the spot.
Well, it's dishonest. And in what brand that's dishonest did people try to be with? Name a brand that's been dishonest that has made it.
Yeah.
There isn't any. And honestly, why did we like Adele when she first came on the scene? Because she was a swearing Brit who could sing real good. And she kind of made us cry, right? And we had all the feels. What we loved and embraced about her, she was fantastic, obviously, but she let us see who she was. Authenticity is so important. And then at the same time, we had Lady Gaga, who is really down with fashion and those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it came to understanding who Lady Gaga was and attaching ourselves to who she is and what she represents, we struggled, right? There was one that was hits all day long. It's not that Lady Gaga is less. It's just that it was easy for us as a public and as a consumer to understand where Adele was coming from and trust her quicker.
Yeah.
You want to do that in
She
your
was
own
way
brand.
more transparent. Yeah. Way more authentic.
She swore a ton. I totally was on board with that.
Something about swearing with it, just makes me trust you a little bit more.
Yeah, immediately.
For what it is. Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a core theme in what we're talking about, which is, and I like your critique of the set it and forget it touch points around the authenticity of the interaction. And I think that sometimes we try to play that balance of staying front of mind. And, I know that lots of programs pitch that the set it and forget it touch point system is something that just can operate because they're taking the load away from the manual. I need to do this touch and interaction. And I can hear that critique of, if what does it have anything to do with me? You're sending me something random.
I think it worked before. I think earlier in the digital age, when we, email isn't what it is now, social media wasn't what it is now, and the volume of noise. The way before we'd get hit by a billboard and maybe a television commercial, but now it's just we're being pounded by it. It's bombarding. And I think that set it and forget it made sense because it really reaffirmed the top of mind practice. Yeah. I'm behind that. I think in 2024, you have to be very careful about wasting somebody's time. I think they will mark you away faster than they would have maybe in 2010 even. I do believe that.
I love that. Thank you. And Shelley, in closing, what would you say, thinking about your own robust database that you've built since 2015, you have a very clear niche that you focus in on, which was identified really by the first few transactions. You started to realize, hey, there's a thread of consistency here in medical professionals. I'm going to go deep in that niche. Which is not to say that you don't say yes to other types of business, but clearly there's a demographic that's drawn to you.
It depends on what my objective is. So I know we kind of went through all those things in the profile. I know that they need escapism. I respect their time and I do not bug them or invite them to things or expect them to show up for stuff or talk to me even during August. Because they are away. So I'm first of all respectful of their time. Second of all, I do the pop, pop, bang, and I can give you a link to an article I wrote about it, which is connecting, inviting to an event. So it's just it's kind of a constant thing. I'm always doing it. And then when I finish the first cycle, I just start again. And I try to make it relevant to the news that's happening right now. For instance, in the presentation today, I was giving the example that physician loans, I work with medical people, physician loans kind of disappeared. And I want to be the first person because I said, I have your back. I will make sure that you have what you need to buy or sell a house. Right now, I do not have that. I promise you. And my message right now is I'm on it. Hold tight. And they can trust me to be able to do that. And I actually am almost ready for that. Like I almost fixed it. See what I'm saying? So I guess the answer isn't easy. And we want the easy answer because marketing is just so hard and we have to put ourselves out there and it's just so uncomfortable. And oh my gosh, you want to know who I am? I don't want to tell you who I am. Do I have to tell you the truth? Oh my gosh, here's my card. So let's just not do that. We don't need to. And we can just say, okay, right now, I really want to help you with X. And my marketing is around helping and guiding you because that's what I promised I'd do.
Simple.
It's that easy.
Beautiful. Lynn and Shelley, thank you so much. Friends, Shelley Zavits, if you're looking her up on the internet, very easy to find, unique name. And we'll put some information in the show notes. Thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with us today. It's been a pleasure. Really
Thank you for having me. I'm so stoked. I'm excited to come back. Invite me back. We'll do something else.
You're invited back. We'd like to see you
we'll invite you
in
in the
real life.
summertime, so there's no snowstorm.
Thank you very much for having us. It's awesome.
Thanks, Brooke.
Awesome. Thanks, gang. Have a great day.